Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In celebration of the series Doctor Who, we're going to make Doctor Who inspired DIYs. You can customize them however you like and they're perfect gifts. Let me know in the comments down below what other DIYs you would like to see on this channel, and for now, let's get started. Let's start with the Gallifreyan mousepad. You can either make your own design by drawing it onto some paper, or you can print out the image I have linked in the description box below using high quality paper. Here I'm using photo paper. I used two different images I found on DeviantArt and put them both together using Photoshop. But there are tons of pictures online you can use, or you can look up the language and create your own message. Look for videos and websites about how to write circular Gallifreyan and you can make any design you want. Cut out the image and trace it onto a sheet of cork. Is this how you even call it? Here I'm using these placemats from IKEA. They're not too thick and not too thin, so basically they make perfect mouse pads. Next, cut out the circle very carefully. Now we have the image, the cork mat, and now we only need a cover to protect the image while using the mouse pad. For this step I'm using clear self-adhesive foil. Trace the circle on top and cut it out. Here I wanted to make the circle larger because I wanted to glue the foil over the edges, but in the end it didn't quite work. Now let's add everything together. Evenly apply some glue over the cork where you can see the guidelines so we can cover it with the image. Don't use too much glue or the paper might get too wet and it might ruin the ink. Next, carefully place the image on top. To make sure everything attaches to each other properly, you can place something heavy on top and let it dry completely. Since after drying the black ink turned a little bit green, I went over with a black marker and drew over the lines to make them black again. Now once everything is dry, it's time to add the adhesive foil on top. But before we do that, cut off any excess cork around the circle if necessary. If you want, you can also use a black marker and paint the edge so it kinda blends into the design without making the cork that visible. Next, peel off some of the backside paper of the self-adhesive foil and attach it to one of the sides of the mouse pad. To avoid bubbles, I would recommend using a ruler and carefully move it over the mouse pad while releasing more and more foil. Make sure everything is attached properly and you're done. Since the foil didn't want to attach properly to the backside as I planned, I just cut off the excess. And the mouse pad is finished. I really love how it turned out, and I'm sure every Doctor Who fan will appreciate this gift and will absolutely love it. The next idea is super customizable as well because you can turn the notebook design into every Doctor you like. First, let's start with the template. Take a piece of paper from your notebook and fold it in half. Next, open it again, place it onto the notebook and start sketching out the costume of your favorite Doctor, keeping the center of the paper in mind. Since I'm going to create the 12th Doctor, I drew the upper part of his jacket and the flying away parts of his jacket below. Fold the paper in half again and cut out the template. It kinda looks weird, but I promise it makes sense. Now we have the parts for the jacket and the shirt inside. Since his jacket is almost completely black, I'm going to glue on a piece of black paper onto the plain cover. Next, I used the shirt part of the template, traced it onto some white paper and cut it out. And now you can glue it on top of the black paper using the template as a guideline. Since I wanted to make the jacket 3D, I wanted to create the flaps of his jacket as well instead of just drawing them. For this step, use your template again and cut out both sides of the flaps using black paper or any other color that you need for your design. Now we only need the lower part of the jacket. Repeat the steps, but now use the lower part of the template. And now we can glue everything together. The black flaps are not really visible in the video, but it looks great in real life. I also created a collar of his white shirt by creating a template first and then glued it on top. Once you glued everything together, we can go ahead and add more details. To make the flaps more visible, I used a white pen and traced the outlines. You can also draw the buttons on his shirt and the buttons below. But you can also use paper and cut it out. This idea is similar to my Sailor Moon inspired notebooks, and I love this idea because you can really make any design you want and make it into a personalized gift. And if you carry it around in your school or somewhere else, it will be a great way to find new friends that absolutely love Doctor Who as well. The next ideas are Doctor Who inspired charms that you can make into keychains or necklaces. For this DIY, I'm going to use mini Perler beads. And no, Perler beads are not only for kids, they're super fun and relaxing. To create the TARDIS, start off by placing 15 black Perler beads in one row. Next, you want to add 2 beads on each side on top, 1 to the inside, and then 16 on each side vertically. I accidentally added 15 because I miscalculated and had to move around some beads later. You will see that later. Now place 1 bead to the outside, 2 on top, 1 inside, 2 on top again, 1 inside, 1 on top, 3 to the inside, 1 on top, and 1 to the inside, and then the last bead in the middle. Let's pretend you know what I'm talking about. Once you created the outline, you can add 2 rows for the police sign and then divide the lower part using black mini beads. I love the fact that Perler beads are not only for kids. Creating different designs with them is so relaxing because you have to place 1 bead after another very carefully, and you can create almost any design you want. Once we have the outlines, we can fill them in with colored beads. For the top part, I'm using white beads, and then I fill the rest with blue beads. And for the row below, simply fill the row using white beads again. And now it's time to add more details. Place 9 white beads like that so you can create a square and have space for another row around it. You need 2 on one side and 1 on the other side. Now do the same, but this time use only 5 black colored beads that you have to place in the shape of a corner. In the end, you should have 3 white squares and 5 black corners like that. And now you can add blue beads to fill the rest of the space. As you can see, I miscalculated 1 row at the bottom and had to move this 1 row down, but oftentimes you get a better picture of your design once you start playing around with the beads. That's why I changed the top part a little bit as well and added 4 beads instead of 2. Once you're happy with the design, place a baking sheet on top and iron the beads for a few seconds. Be sure to wait until the beads are melted together before removing the paper, or it will be a disaster. I have 2 more designs you can make, the Doctor Who sign and the bow, but before I bore you too much with the steps again and have to say the word beads 5 million times, I will just post all the designs on my blog and you can use them as a reference. There are also plenty of other designs you can create. That's the fun part. You can get inspired by others, but you can also create your own unique designs. If you want to make them look more cute, I would recommend using mini beads. If you didn't know, there are different sized Perler beads and I absolutely love using mini beads. The end result looks so cute, as if a digital object got lost in the real world kinda. If you want more ideas, I have other fun designs you can create. They are especially perfect for the summer and the back to school season. So check them out if you want. I will have the links in the description box down below. Once you have created your charms, all you need to do is adding a jump ring to one of the holes and then apply it to a keychain. If the holes are too melted together, you can use a toothpick or a needle and open up the beads again. And your cute keychain is finished. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to comment down below what other DIYs you would like to see in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day and I will see you next Saturday.